I hope you enjoy the story. Put on your headphones, close your eyes, and listen. Once upon a time, in a faraway land surrounded by mountains and rivers, there lived a great sultan named King Adrian. He lived in his enormous palace, surrounded by courtiers and soldiers, and the people feared him as they feared fire. One morning, a strange woman entered the palace, whose origins and story were unknown to anyone. She was old, her clothes ragged, but her eyes held a mysterious sparkle. She walked slowly until she stood before the king's throne and said in a trembling voice, "My lord, I am a poor woman who lives by looking at the stars and reading the sand. But people accuse me of witchcraft, persecute me, and harm me. I have come to seek your protection." The king was enraged by the injustice of his subjects and ordered the herald to shout in the marketplace, "Whoever dares to harm this woman will receive the most severe punishment from King Hadrian." From that day on, no one dared to touch her. But a few days later, the old woman returned to the palace and said to the king, "My lord, I have come today to repay you. I have a precious gift that will make you the greatest and wisest king on earth." The king laughed sarcastically. "Do kings need gifts?" But the old woman opened her basket and brought out a huge, strange fish, its scales shining like silver. She said, "This fish is amazing. Cook it yourself and don't let anyone else taste it. If you do, you will gain wisdom and knowledge, but if anyone shares it with you, they will share the secret with you." The king didn't believe her, but he took the fish and promised her a courtesy. Before she left, she warned him, "Do not disobey my command, or you will regret it." After she left, the king continued to contemplate the fish, hesitating between believing her and disbelieving her. Then he called his faithful servant Elliot and said, "Take this fish and cook it for me, but don't let anyone taste it. If you do, I will cut off your head." Elliot was surprised and thought, why didn't he send it to the cook as usual? Why did he threaten me like that? But when he placed the fish on the fire, an irresistible, wonderful smell emanated from it. He couldn't stop himself from savoring a small piece. As soon as he swallowed it, he felt a strange heat spread through his body. Suddenly, he heard a cat say, "What a delicious smell! If only I could steal a small piece." Elliot froze, staring at the cat, which was staring at him. He couldn't believe he was hearing it, but he realized the secret was in the fish. He tried to hide it. Adding spices and flour, finishing the cooking, and then serving it to the king. The king ate until he was full, then ordered him to prepare 2 horses to go together into the forest. On the way, Elliot heard the 2 horses talking. The king's horse said, "I'm tired of carrying this lazy man. He knows nothing but sleep and rest." Elliot's horse replied, "You're right, but if we throw him, his weak body will shatter." Elliot laughed without realizing it. The king turned angrily and asked, "What are you laughing at?" He quickly said, "I remembered something old." But the king began to doubt. In the palace, while the king was eating, two birds entered. One of them was carrying a shiny golden hair. "I took it from the hair of the princess with the golden hair," he said to his companion. The hair fell to the ground and tinkled like gold. Elliot trembled when he heard the bird's words, and the cup of water fell from his hand. The king cried, "Now I am sure. I understand the bird's words, and there is no doubt that you ate from the fish." Elliot knelt down to plead, but the king raised his sword and said, "I will not spare you unless you bring me the owner of this hair. If you return without news of her, I will cut off your head." Elliot took the money and provisions he needed and began his long journey. He walked through mountains and valleys until he nearly perished. One night, he saw a fire burning in the forest. He approached to find it threatening an ant colony. He quickly extinguished it with dirt and twigs. The queen ant came out and said, "You have saved our kingdom. You will never forget this favor." He continued his journey until he reached the sea, where he found 3 fishermen. They asked him where he was going, and he replied, "I am looking for the princess with the golden hair." They gave him a ride on their boat, but as he drifted away, they beat him, stole his money, and threw him into the sea. He nearly drowned, but a wooden plank carried him to shore. He saw 2 eagles fighting, and one of them fell wounded. The eagle approached and said, "Go to the nearby hill. You will find a wondrous plant. Squeeze it into my mouth." Elliot quickly brought the leaves and squeezed them into the eagle's mouth. By God's grace, he was healed. The eagle thanked him and said, "You saved me. I will repay you. The princess is not in the sea as they told you, but on the silver mountain. But the path is perilous. I will fly above you to guide you." Elliot walked for 2 days until he reached. Elliot went out, bewildered, until he heard a familiar voice. "It's the queen ant." "Don't worry, we'll make you a necklace." The ants spread out into the forest, gathered the emeralds, and drilled them. On the 3rd day, the necklace was ready. When Elliot presented it to the king, he was amazed by its beauty and said, "You have proven yourself worthy of seeing my daughter." Then he called the princess into the hall, and Princess Aurelia, with her golden hair, entered. Her beauty was beyond description, and her eyes were as clear as the sea. She sat next to her father, and as soon as Elliot saw her, he realized his journey had not been in vain. The king was impressed by Elliot's intelligence and sent the princess with him to be a bride for his master, King Adrian. On the way home, Elliot told the princess his story and how he had saved the ants and the eagle. She was impressed and said, "You have more right to me than any king. I don't judge men by their positions, but by their deeds." But when they arrived at King Adrian's palace, he tried to get rid of Elliot out of jealousy, ordering one of his guards to stab him. Elliot fell wounded, But Princess Aurelia quickly squeezed the magic leaves into his mouth. At that moment, an old maid appeared and said, "People, Elliot is no ordinary servant. He is the son of the late king, and King Hadrian's brother from another mother. On his arm is a mole similar to the king's, and he is the rightful heir to the throne." The soldiers shouted, "Long live King Elliot!" They crowned him sultan, and he married the golden-haired Princess Aurelia. They lived happily together, begetting sons and daughters with green eyes and hair that shone in the sun. Theirs was a reign of prosperity, justice, and goodness. And so our story ends tonight. Sleep soundly, and let your dreams carry you to faraway kingdoms where love, justice, and magic live together. If you like the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.